What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Why would I even say ladies? No women watch this show. It's been a minute. Your boy got in some trouble. Man, do I sound like a Zoomer. Unk got in trouble. Yeah, ran into a strike situation. Apparently when you start saying the truth, people don't like it. And if they've got a tiny bit of power, they're going to flag you. So, ended up getting a strike. YouTube required I take a class to let everyone know that I am sensitive and I care about everyone's feelings and it's all just a misunderstanding and how to take care of one another on the internet and all this good stuff. So I took my class and that strike will drop off. So in the meantime, we need to keep a low profile. But I figured I could follow up on my bottom feeder video that I was talking about so long ago. I've been wanting to do this video for quite a while. So let's get started here. All right, so I'm going to have to record this video twice because we're going to have a censored version that's going to end up on YouTube to appease the YouTube overlords. And then we're going to have the real version on Rumble. If you guys want to check that out, I would appreciate that very much. The Elect Chicken Rumble, I guess that's how you search on there. I don't understand Rumble. It doesn't make any damn sense to me. So here's the situation. We're back underwater again. You know, we're exploring. We're figuring out what's going on. We've got the Great White. He's the Great One. And he swims along. And as he swims, he creates content in the form of doo-doo, like we talked about. And the doo-doo sinks down to the ocean floor, and that crazy dolphin, well, he's not going to be pictured in this video, but that dolphin, you know, he bathes in this shit. He doesn't eat the shit, but he bathes in it. So as the shit reaches the ocean floor, these bottom feeders down here now have to take care of the shit. They have to eat it. And because we are being culturally and YouTube guidelines acceptable, none of these characters on the bottom have names. These are just animals. You know, we are in the ecosystem. We can't hurt anybody's feelings if these are just animals on the ocean floor. I like how the lobster is a cooked lobster. That's the PNG I found. I couldn't find a live lobster that was a PNG, so I found this dead lobster. This was a long time ago when I found all these images, but so here we are on the ocean floor, and the shit has cascaded, as it does, down to the ocean floor. And these animals do what they do. They have to, you know, consume the shit and try to produce something with the shit. So they all have to earn a living. And in their process of earning a living, they will copy what the Great One has produced. They are copying the persona, the type of content, all that kind of stuff, because they don't want to be on the bottom. They want to be on the top. They want to make the most money possible, and they don't want to be stuck being a bottom feeder the rest of their lives. So these bottom feeders are willing to do just about anything, including selling their souls to get ahead. They will cut throats. They will flag channels, you know, coincidentally. They will do all these types of things because that's what their goal is, to get to the top. And the Great One did everything to get to the top. You know, once you have broken the threshold, it's the same thing with my business. I broke the threshold, and it was my name kind of existing on its own. I was able to not work as hard. I don't have to market. My name covers a lot of word of mouth, and then I get business because of word of mouth. It's kind of the same thing with the Great One. He broke through the barrier, broke through, and the market now acknowledges him. The market now rewards him, and he doesn't have to work that hard. He's low energy. He just kind of swims slowly and eats what gets in his path. And that's kind of how I do things. I swim slowly and eat what gets in my path. But I'm a business owner. And when you're a business owner, you have to create. So when you create, whether it be electrical installations like my company does, or video content like the Great One does, you're at least producing something. You're the apex predator, while everybody else has to figure out what you're doing and try to adapt to it. You adapt to nothing but the market. They adapt to you. Okay? So these bottom feeders are all down here adapting to what other people do. They don't adapt for things on their own because they are incapable of doing what the Great One does. They're not creative enough. They're not smart enough. They don't work hard enough. Now, I'm not saying the Great One has always worked the hardest. There's times where he probably didn't. There's times where he probably just let things happen to him, let fate take its course. But either by coincidence or by hard work, he ended up where he did, okay? As these animals down here exist in this ecosystem, they have to do some cutthroat things like we talked about. They have to maybe stab each other in the back. They have to maybe not pay each other for services rendered. Or maybe they have to form alliances to hurt others to get ahead. But everybody down here is fighting for survival. Because every scrap of shit matters. They have to not only copy what the Great One does, but also discuss what the Great One does. Because that's the only way they get clicks and views on a regular basis. Most of these people down here, if not all of them, are not, I should say, animals down here, because we are not talking about people, we're talking about animals. These animals down here are not subsiding off of just the stuff they're doing on certain platforms. Let's just call it that. You know, a lot of the animals down here on their Patreons and their ad revenue aren't even producing enough revenue to pay for the amount of money my company spends in gravel. Just gravel, just rocks. Put that in perspective. These people down here, these animals down here, are not producing enough revenue to pay for my business's gravel expenses for a year. Okay? That just tells you the difference between how hard I work and how hard somebody down here works. Or I should say some animal. I keep having that trouble of calling these people. They're not people, they are animals. Okay, so these animals on the ocean floor, once again, they, like I said, they have desperate situations because they follow the algorithm and they slither about and they consume as much fecal matter as they can. But times get desperate. And you know they do. Some people can't even build their own computers when they're almost 40 years old. Some people have to make fun of others in order to make content when they are just as lolcow worthy. And speaking of lolcows, most of the animals down here are a different type of animal. They are what we would call a lolcow because they are laugh-worthy individuals, because these individuals are a different type of breed. So I classify lolcows as two classifications. There is a type 1 lolcow and there's a type 2 lolcow. Type 1 lolcows are born in certain circumstances outside of their control, and those circumstances affect their behaviors. Those behaviors generally end up in a negative response from those around them. Those responses are usually trolling, laughter, making fun of, those types of things. That's not something that I would ever want to happen on the internet. It's not something I'd ever want to happen on this platform, but it happens. It's a type 1 lolcow. Outside of their control, they are born with certain circumstances to become a lolcow. In the past, in the ancient history, these people would have just been tomatoed on the town square. Those types of things. But because they have a presence on the internet, they are tomatoed, as it were, on the internet for everyone to see. Their impact is much greater than the ancient times, because it would have just been an event on a day in a dirt hill or a sand patch, and nobody else besides the immediate people in the town would have known about it. But now everyone can know about it, okay? So, a type 1 lolcow is a lolcow because of circumstances beyond their control. Whether they are born low IQ, whether they are born retarded, whatever it may be, because they cannot control their actions because they are not capable of controlling their actions. A type 2 lolcow is the lolcow you earn. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? Lolcows in this capacity, these types of animals, have earned being a lolcow because of their actions that they can control. Type 2, it's like type 2 diabetes. You earn it, right? Type 1, you don't earn. It's genetic. Do you see where I'm coming at? So when you get to a certain point when you're a type 2 lolcow and you're on the ocean floor, you have to do things that you might not want to do, like I discussed earlier. Backstabbing, stealing, flagging, trolling, all types of things, all types of campaigns to exist in this highly competitive, very non-lucrative market. These animals would be much better off simply getting a real job instead of waiting for shit to cascade upon them. Do you know what I mean? But instead, this is what they do. They've wasted their lives, they've wasted their time on the ocean floor doing nothing. And these animals that are not affiliated with any human being that's ever existed, in Minecraft or otherwise, sometimes enter a certain type of relationship. They enter a certain type of formation with each other. And it would be called, I guess, have you guys ever seen the movie Human Centipede? I mean, I watched it way back in the day with my ex-girlfriend, and she was horrified. I was horrified. So in these situations, okay, when the shit gets scarce and you've got all these animals on the ocean floor, they have to share the shit. So they enter into a human centipede. I'm sorry, an animal centipede. Okay? So this animal goes here, and this animal is tied into the rear area of this animal. This animal goes into the rear of that animal. And then this animal goes to that animal. And then this animal goes over here. And as the shit goes down, it gets digested and consumed into the mouth of one animal. It is excreted into the next animal's mouth. And that animal excretes it into the next animal's mouth. And then that animal excretes it into the next animal's mouth. And then that animal excretes it in the next animal's mouth. It is a way to survive when there's not much going on the ocean floor. Okay? The problem with this is there's only so much nutrients in shit. And when nutrients gets absorbed in the bodies of these animals, the next passageway into the next animal ends up with less nutrients. At a certain point, there's nothing to survive on. And when that happens, the animal then can't survive. Okay? It goes away. And that's how the ocean floor works. The shit comes down, it gets entered into the animal and excreted, eaten, and then finally, oh no, that one can't survive either. It shambles off. And then it dies. And then the process continues over and over and over until all that's left is the great one and a pile of shit and no one to consume any of the shit. Because being a bottom feeder is not a noble endeavor. A bottom feeder is a cleanup crew. And people that watch bottom feeders are no better. The bottom feeders have entered my comment section and have asked questions and have said things and made comments and what have you. And I've left my DMs open and I've said, if you want to talk to me, that's fine. Let's go ahead. I have told people that I'll even talk to you in comment sections. Right for everybody to see. Open discussion. And some of the people have done okay. Some of the people were decent enough. In fact, P.F. Chang recently, I think that's his name, P.F. Chang. He was a lobster. And he discussed some things in the comment section with me as well. But my point is this. Every bottom feeder ends up in the same place. Even though they pretend they have a niche and they do something different and they have more value to bring than the other guy, they all end up in the same place. Spinning their wheels, wasting their time, when they could be out learning something, gaining something. I mean, simply balancing a checkbook, that would be a valuable skill to learn. Simply, I don't know, taking care of the relationships that are important in your lives. Maybe learning a skill, learning a trade, paying off your debts, being able to afford a computer at age 40. I mean, there are most people in the United States. I don't have any statistics to back this up, but I believe, based on my experiences, that most people can't afford more than a couple $1,000 emergency bill because they've wasted their time and their efforts on stupid things. I have talked about this in other videos about being debt-free. I've talked about it in other videos about other types of animals in the ecosystems out there. We need to be YouTube friendly. So that's the ecosystem, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see the uncensored version of this, it'll be on Patreon. Actually, I don't have a Patreon. I never will. And this channel will never be monetized because this is information I find valuable, and I don't want to put it behind a paywall or an ad or anything like that. And there's animals out there that want to make a buck for every little stupid thing that comes out of their mouths. It's not important. It's not valuable. And you can't stop them from doing what they do, but you can stop paying attention. And you can start paying attention to what matters in life. You have to decide what those things are. Thanks for watching, everybody. And I'll see you in the next one. And hopefully I don't get banned. If I do, who cares, right? It's just another feather in my cap. Because like I said, if you get pushback, it means you're doing the right thing.